Mayday! Mayday! This is Commander Rick calling Earth. Come in, you surface dwellers, you prisoners of gravity. Hello, come in, Earth, come in. Hello, calling Earth. Ah, there you are. Greetings, prisoners of gravity. This is Commander Rick, your guy in the sky up here with the satellites, rockets, and other space debris. A lot of you have been writing, faxing, and electronically signaling me, asking me how I know everything about science fiction and comic books. Is it because being in space allows my mind to expand? No, it's because I can patch into 4,000 different TV signals and telephone lines. And I have friends down on Earth there, friends who fax me and phone me all the latest information. Comic book and science fiction store owners, the friendly ones, keep me up to date on what's coming out. And, of course, the book publishers and the comic book companies are my friends, and they send me their press releases. Look, here's one I got from Adventure Comics. It's for Alien Nation. All sorts of information, background information, as well as information about the comic. What it says here, set in 1995, the comic book will have all new characters and plot lines that are entirely separate from the movie and the television series. They're going to set it 4 years into the future and allow the newcomers to be more settled and have a little more power and influence. Maybe they'll even be Republicans by then. And here's another press release. This one's from Marvel Comics, and it's for the new RoboCop comic. I'll give you a quick read at this. It says, we're going to capture the combination of breakneck action and social satire that made the movie a tremendous success, editor Greg Wright explained. We also want to explore the characters in more depth, beginning with Murphy, RoboCop, and his partner Lewis. So you get background information in here. They even throw in a few drawings. It's great getting these things. If you want to get some inside information, then you can check out things like Comic Shop News. It's weekly and it's free. There's also the Comic Buyer's Guide, or the CBG as it's known as. It's even got a little blurb about Commander Rick in there, so you know they're on top of things. There's also the Comic Journals. That's published by Fantagraphic Books. The Comics Journal attempts a critical look at comic books. A slightly lighter tone and style is found in the sister publication, also published by Fantagraphic Books, called Amazing Heroes, which is now a monthly magazine, usually a major interview, plots, lots of news and reviews and so on. It's lighter in tone, as I say, and if you want even lighter in tone, then you tune into Commander Rick. Boy, check out this lineup. Looks like a lineup for Batman. And it is. These people are lining up to meet writer Grant Morrison and illustrator Dave McKean, who are on a North American signing tour to help promote the latest graphic album featuring Batman. You probably know it already. Yes, that's right, Arkham Asylum. The book has become a major success. It's sold over 200,000 copies. That's incredible sales for an expensive hardcover graphic album. They'd sell 200,001 if they could get one up to me.
What we wanted to do initially was just talk about Arkham Asylum itself, the building, and the history of the building, but inevitably, as we started, Batman worked his way into the story. So it wasn't really a conscious decision to do yet another big Batman book from the start. The basic idea was to do something about the house, because it's just such a strong image, an asylum, an enclosed space full of people with weird delusionary systems. And that's how it started, and eventually it just grew into this monster that we now have. The asylum had been cropping up in various DC comics over the years, but it had never really been fully explored. And we just based it on some of the elements of earlier stories and on the DC Who's Who, which mentioned briefly the history of the place, and that's where we took our subplot of Amadeus Arkham's life story. So we expanded on that, but yeah, basically we made up the rules in this one. The plot is very, very simple, very basic. The lunatics in the asylum take over, and they say that they plan to kill the asylum staff unless Batman is sent in to be put on trial by the inmates. And that's as simple as it is. Batman comes into the asylum, wanders through, has a number of encounters which have psychological significance, and then comes out at the other end, a changed man, hopefully. Well, just every single thing in the book has takes on a symbolic value, and all the characters really mean something else. They can be seen as almost figures from tarot cards. For instance, we've got the tarot cards in the story. They can be seen as personifications of psychological concepts. They can be seen as elements in a recipe for cheesecake, if you want. But, you know, basically everything means something else. So we were able to use these characters in a lot of different ways. The first draft wasn't as good as the finished book, and the major change was that Dave came in after the first draft, and his involvement completely changed the way that the story progressed. Mainly in that he said to me, let's not do this as a real character. And whereas Batman before, or the most recent treatments of Batman have been saying, what would it be like if a man actually wore a bat suit and ran about town beating people up? And Dave said, let's just do it as a symbolic thing rather than as a physical person in a suit. And that completely changed the entire idea of what we were doing.
I really can't claim anything for the story at all. I mean, the only thing was that I really didn't believe in Batman as a man dressed up in a suit at the end of the day. I was even hoping to take it as far as doing the whole thing like a big sort of theatrical production and having everybody wear masks, and the Joker would just be a mask, suspended mask, and Two-Face would have two masks. But actually it came back a little bit from there. But it was just taking it away from trying to be real people, as if this was real people. That was my only major sort of bone of contention. Mostly because I was hoping this book might be read by people who don't usually read comics. I wanted the whole package to look very different. And you can't assume that people can accept the fact that, you know, there's this guy who runs around with the big ears and the little gold badge, because it's a daft idea. And I just don't believe in a man dressed up as a bat wandering around hitting people. I just don't. I mean, you know, call me old-fashioned, but I just don't believe in that. But there were some things about the character that I did think worked. I mean, if you're given that to work with, the fact that he's this dark, blurring, bleak shadow wandering around, you know, you just catch glimpses of him and just flashes down an alleyway. That kind of works. That's a nice image. Just an image of a man-bat, you know, mixed between the two, is kind of interesting. So I never really wanted to show him as having a defined mask or defined costume, and things like the little gold badge obviously went. I mean, that's just ludicrous. So it was that side, the sort of slightly strange mystical side, that I liked. But seeing as though the whole book is set in an asylum, it's the perfect like coat hanger to just hang all this madness on. If there's an image in there that doesn't make sense, you know, fine. Maybe it will resonate with somebody and they'll find a personal meaning for it. Maybe it'll just sit around being one of the sort of imponderables of the book, and, you know, so much the better. The majority of it is just acrylic paint and watercolour inks and biro and pencil and graphite and whatever's closest. The collage materials are it's just a way of adding more texture and more interest, not only to the work but with my producing it. I like things that happen by accident. I'm a big fan of, you know, just, you know, trying to catch the moment. So a lot of the textural things, the build-ups of texture paste and all this kind of stuff, and the bits of material collaged on, and they're just painted over. It's usually just like 2 or 3 swipes, and then I leave the textures to just work themselves out.